Hey guys, King of Charles here, to be your judge, your jury, and your analyst, and today I bring to you my top 5 teams for the Retro Cup. So, for those that don't remember, the Retro Cup basically only has basically no Steel, no Dark, or Fairy types are allowed. It's the original, first generation types, which is kind of okay, but, you know, yes, Steel and Fairy are pretty OP mons, but there are a lot of super meta picks that aren't of that typing. For those of you that don't know, a long time ago, basically the competitive scene for Pokemon, Psychics reigned supreme, and Psychics are still allowed in here. Along with that, there are 2 new Metamons, which I've talked about profusely, on the Retro Cup that are allowed in this cup. So it's really... it's not that great. Well, it's the freaking Retro Cup, man. So the thing about it is what you're gonna do is you're gonna see these, or you're gonna have to kill you're gonna have these, or you're gonna kill these, and you're gonna see what I'm talking about in these top 5 teams. A lot of these are just things that I came out with that actually did pretty well in practice from the last season, and some things new this season that practice with my friends, etc. I found are really good. I also put somewhat of a non-XL team out here, so that if you want to use that one, by all means go right ahead. But you're probably going to use the #1 team that I put out here, or the last team. That's basically what me and what every person that's analyzed this cup is basically just complaining about, or yeah. But yeah, the Retro Cup. But before we get started, first we have to start with my therapist mental health tip of the day. And my therapist mental health tip of the day is that... take a break. Well, basically, I'm taking a break, but I've been, or rather, take a break, what you would consider a break. For me, I've been uploading every single day consistently since the beginning of the year, so this isn't work to me. If it was work to me, I probably wouldn't be doing it every day, but I do enjoy making content. What I mean by taking a break is if you have something that's incredibly stressful, such as work or whatnot, then take a break away from it. Go away. For example, it's spring break it's spring break right now. My kids are off, so I'm taking a break. I know I say this profusely, but yeah, go outside, go see a movie, go do something that takes your mind off of things that you would consider work, or just things that you particularly do not enjoy, or things that are painful. Except I should probably take that advice because I've been working out like a madman, so I'm trying to cut weight for jujitsu and whatnot, and I still have to cut like 4 pounds, and it's really grueling, but you know what? That's why you have cheat days. That's what cheat days are for. A good analogy of taking a break is having your cheat day for working out, because that one cheat day makes all the work you put in from the week so worth it. And I feel so disciplined and so free right now, and I'm really I'm on a roll, so then I'm looking forward to my next cheat day. Speaking of that, my next planned cheat day is going to watch Morbius. For my break, I'm going to watch Morbius, and then I'm going to have a pizza, and those pretzels you see at the movie theaters, they have cinnamon ones with those icing dip. That's amazing. Oh my god, I love food. But yes, you can bribe me with to do almost anything as long as it's food. My best friends know. If you want me to do something, or if you want a favor, just ask me for food. They already know. So yes, I love food, and food is amazing. And yes, pizza is one of my favorite foods. Cinnamon is one of my favorite treats. And oh my god, I love cinnamon stuff. So yes, I'm going to take a break by going to the movies and eating said delicacy and watching a movie by myself. And that's my break. But yeah, I'm take a break, like I mentioned. And again, especially for Go Battle Day, because you guys probably played Go Battle Day yesterday. If you did, you could take a break from battles today. You don't really need a battle unless you really want that Stardust. But again, take those breaks, come back refreshed, and crush every single day like there is no tomorrow. And without further ado, these are my top 5 teams for the Retro Cup, and let's get started. Alright, first off, we got Trevenant Lead, Lickitung Safe Switch, and Deoxys Defense. So DD can also function as a Safe Switch. You're mostly going to be using Rock Slide for this cup. There's no real reason you need Thunderbolt. Rock Slide covers the flyers, also does super effective damage against Ice-type Pokemon like Frostless and Walrein, so you don't really need Thunderbolt. Psycho Boost is there, of course, because you get Stab, and of course Psycho Boost plays are absolutely amazing. If you see me play on Twitch with Deoxys Defense, I love Deoxys Defense, and I love them Psycho Boost plays. So this team overall has an A for coverage, grade A for coverage, you know what I mean? It's like if you look for a report card and you wanted the perfect grades, then of course you want A's. But this doesn't really matter. All 3 of these Pokemon are super meta anyways, except for Lickitung XL. You need Lickitung XL to function right here. Lickitung does have the ability to beat both Walrein and, of course, Walrein and Trev, but Walrein's a little dicey just because you have to power up. If they shield the power up, they get good calls, and they can set up a lot of plays for you. As you see here, does really great against the overall meta, hence the A for coverage. And with a great low threat score of 597, your biggest threat is literally Venomoth, which I don't even think is much of a threat to begin with, but you know, it's a Go Battle League. 9 times 10 you probably won't see a Venomoth. Trevenant does fall against Altaria, so again, safe switch into Lickitung, you can like realign with Deoxys defense if you find that nothing's working. But basically, whatever you are going to lose against is just what Trev loses to. Trev loses the lead, safe switch into Lickitung, DD goes and takes over. All three of these mons are super meta, so despite the fact that even though there are a lot of Pokemon that can target Trev, Grievant, all other normal types, etc., this team's still really powerful, which is why Trevenant in Open Great League is still really freaking OP despite the fact that you can counter it. It wins CMP, it does a ton of damage, so the big Ghost Tree does dominate and does really well. If you have Lickitung XL, this might be a good standard team for you because Trevenant in the lead, you can even put Walrein in the lead if you want to, but this team is very powerful, and again, Deoxys defense as a switch, you're probably going to see it a lot either in the switch or you're going to see it a lot in general in the Retro Cup. Next up, we got Altaria lead, Deoxys defense safe switch, and Greedent to close out. Greedent and DD both function as safe switch for this cup. Greedent's really good because even though it does beat Walrein Trev, it's still kind of dicey for the fact that Greedent, yeah, those Icicle Spears do chunk, and because Bullet Seed is resisted, you can still find win cons if you have a Trevenant with a lot of Seed Bombs. I've killed a lot of Greedents in practice with Trevenant just machine gunning Seed Bombs like no tomorrow. So, A for coverage, A for bulk. This team is there's a ton of coverage, a lot of bulk. The reason why Altaria is pretty safe for this cup is outside of things like Frostless and Walrein, Altaria doesn't have a lot of things that threaten it. Deoxys defense, of course, does because it has Rock Slide. So Rock Slide, you could Rock Slide Altaria to death. But Altaria does have Moonblast, etc. If you get the debuff, that's great. But as long as it doesn't encounter an Ice type, Altaria is pretty baller for this cup. It's super thick. Dragon Breath is very powerful. With the lack of fairies in this cup, Altaria is pretty safe. That's why it's an A for coverage in the Retro Cup. Gets the overall meta really, really good. Again, if you see an Ice type, switch immediately. That's why you got Deoxys defense and Greedent to try to cover. Both Deoxys defense and Greedent are really thick, so hopefully you can blast down your opponent's shields, take out the huge threat against Altaria, and then Altaria can go to town. Overall, the only thing that really gives you a huge threat is Swalot, which in the one shield is freaking hilarious because Swalot has Ice Beam. Fun fact. You also have Frostless Frostless is probably going to be your biggest threat as well. Altaria Deoxys defense can go ahead and break shields, and of course Greedent's Body Slam Span is very, very powerful. Lose lead with Altaria, safe switch into Deoxys defense and Greedent, and as long as you eliminate the ice threat, Altaria is very, very good. If you fight someone that does have Walrein Frostless in both the same team, that would really suck. But yes, as long as you avoid ice, you should be very good in this cup. Pretty low threat score of 621. Altaria, again, this is why you catch Altaria in the lead with what its weaknesses, have two coverages, basic team building, and Deoxys defense and Greedent are bulky enough to be able to spam down and absolutely annihilate your opponent. Alright, next up we got Deoxys defense, Licky, and Frostless. If you do not have a Lickitung XL, Licky can also work. Licky works for the sheer fact it has Shadow Ball. So with Shadow Ball, you can absolutely wipe out those Trevenants with Shadow Ball. And of course, these other ice types are rather basically Frostless. So Licky is a very, very viable mon, even if you don't have a Lickitung XL. Deoxys defense is your lead, being able to beat down whatever you beat down the ghost, you break shields with DD leads, and then Frostless, do the Frostless 2 shield strat, or Licky licks your opponent down. Generally really good across the board. I used this one last time Retro Cup came around and was actually pretty solid. So an old team does reign true. Overall, doing well against overall meta picks, and as you see, Deoxys defense covers your general weaknesses. The only thing that actually blows the crap out of this team are 3 Pokemon you likely won't see: Whiscash, Blastoise, and Rainy Castform. The reason why Whiscash is really good against Deoxys defense is because you do resist Rock Slide. However, Deoxys defense can beat Whiscash into 2 shield if you Psycho Boost correctly. It's a very tricky play, but yes, you can beat Whiscash with Deoxys defense as long as you time those Psycho Boost plays right. You don't have Power Up, unfortunately, so Whiscash won't be able to do much against you. However, Licky and Frostless are very spammy, and Frostless can eat that Blizzard. I don't know how you would Blizzard a Frostless, but when she chooses Violence, you have to choose Violence as well. But it's probably not going to be Blizzard. You're probably going to Mud Bomb into Oblivion. Very powerful team. Again, the top 3 that you see that would likely core break you are really going to do you aren't going to see them a lot. And even if you do, they're, yeah, Blastoise and Rainy Castform, you're probably not going to see them a lot in a Retro Cup. But, again, very generally powerful team. Again, if you don't have Lickitung XL, Lickitung works place. I used this on the last time Retro Cup was around, and it actually did pretty well for me. So, no Licky XL, as long as you have a DD and a Frostless, this team can work for you. Alright, next up we have Snorlax, Cresselia, Nidoqueen. This is a very weird team. Surprisingly enough, it did pretty well the last time it was around for the sheer fact Frostless was running around everywhere. And Snorlax does really well against Frostless. But the reason why this is a really wonky team. If you have Cresselia, you can use like Hypno in its place. But the reason why Snorlax is pretty dang good is because Snorlax does beat Walrein Trev. If it's anything that can take on both of those things at once, it's probably Snorlax. Snorlax can straight body slam Trevenant to death just because it's so bulky. So, just putting it out there. People keep telling me the core breakers are greedent, etc. Not really, because, you know, they don't really go out there. Snorlax, however, does. Snorlax does take neutral damage from both Earthquake and Icicle Spear. Superpower threatens a lot because it does big damage against Walrein. And Snorlax is thick enough to where you could also sack in a lead, then send in Cresselia or Nidoqueen to absolutely blast your opponent to death with shield advantage. So, Snorlax can function as a great lead. Even against Deoxys defense, Snorlax, because Licks do super effective damage, again, you could sack in a lead and create some plays out of it. Really solid team. Pretty high threat score of 665. Venusaur, Talonflame, Gliscor, Dragalge, and Snowy Castform. I would say Talonflame is probably the only thing you have to watch out for. Talonflame can do some work here in the Retro Cup. Brave Bird does big damage. Flame Charge buffed up. It's very, very dangerous. However, Cresselia does have Future Sight. So Cresselia are actually here. Use Future Sight Cresselia. There's no reason for you to use Moonblast. Future Sight Cresselia does give you that. Not don't use Aurora, but Future Sight. There you go. Future Sight Cresselia does give you a chance against those Talonflames, and there's not really much. You're either gonna Moonblast or Grass Knot things to death. That's generally what you're gonna do. You change it, as you see, threat score is 632. I ooped on this because I didn't look at it correctly, but yes, Future Sight Cresselia is actually better. As you see, your only two threats end up being Gliscor and Snowy Castform. Gliscor versus Snorlax actually isn't that bad. Nidoqueen's still great for this cup. Stone Edge is able to hit those flyers as well as those ice types. It can give you win conditions against Walrein as well as Frostless if you do encounter them in the back, which is why Nidoqueen with Stone Edge is the preferred moveset. Snorlax, Cresselia safe switch, Nidoqueen close out. You can set up Snorlax, sack in the lead, set Nidoqueen up to get some energy, Poison Fang things to death because Nidoqueen is still really freaking good. With the lack of steel types in this meta, like G-Fist or Bastiodon, Nidoqueen, well, actually, you want a Bastiodon, but the reason why you want a Bastiodon, you basically, without Earthquake, you don't really need Earth Power thanks to Bastiodon basically not existing. So this team is pretty interesting, and it did really well for me last time around. Was a ton of fun. If you don't have a lot of budget pick, or if you don't have a lot of like the other mons, Snorlax and Nidoqueen have been out for a while, so they could possibly work for you. If you don't like Cresselia, you could sub in for a Hypno. It's really up to you, but this team is very interesting. And if you like, again, Snorlax breaks the wall Trevcore pretty convincingly if you get both of them in there. That, or you could sack it in the lead and have Cresselia and Nidoqueen close out. And last but not least, you have the literal thing that just runs everything over. Behold, Walrein Trev Deoxys defense. I didn't tell you this is a good team because it's a good team. It's ridiculous. It really is. As you see, amazing coverage, bulk, really freaking safe. Deoxys defense is a wonderful safe switch. Walrein Trev core is extremely powerful for the mere fact that literally every single one of these mons are overpowered. They are super meta. And this is why this core runs everything over. Even though if Walrein Trev does get core broken, the reason why they're so strong is because you still have a ton of play with them. Because they charge Seed Bomb and Icicle Spear, do a lot of damage over time, and there are a lot of like energy game plays you can do with Walrein Trev, which is why they rank so high above so many other mons nowadays. If you didn't know, well, Azumarill was basically the greatest thing since sliced bread until Walrein Trev started coming over. So anything else, basically, Walrein Trev runs every meta over in whatever there existed in. As you see, very low threat score, 595, outside of things that cold break Walrein Trev. You could sack Walrein in the lead. That's a play you could do with this team. Sack Walrein in the lead, come in with the Deoxys defense, beat the unholy crap out of the core breaker, and then Trevenant goes to town to close out. Which is generally what you can do against a lot of things, unless you lose hard against the actual lead. For example, Walrein will lose hard against things like Deoxys defense itself, but you could choose the Icicle Spear to death. up to you. Again, sack Walrein, come in with Trev. Trev can farm out the Deoxys defense, and then you could ball out. Literal shadow ball your opponent to death. Deoxys defense is incredibly powerful. So, yeah, there's a reason why this team exists, and it's really freaking good. But it's only because it's not just the fact that like their typings are really good, but also just the sheer pressure and coverage this team does. Even though Earthquake doesn't have a lot of targets because steel types are banned, Walrein with Earthquake is still literally top 5 for a good reason. So until something magic comes along that breaks that core, Walrein Trev, they're going to run over the Open Great League for a foreseeable future, and any cup that basically does not ban both of them or a combination of them altogether. This team's really strong. Deoxys defense, Walrein Trev, you're gonna see it a lot. Well, you probably won't see all 3 of them together a lot, but you'll definitely see one of 3 of these mons, or if not Walrein Trev accompanied by it, or one of them at least in a lot of teams in the Retro Cup. I hope you all enjoyed the video, and I hope you enjoyed the Retro Cup, as painful as this week is going to be. But the thing is, if you don't enjoy the Retro Cup, the thing about it is the next week we have Kanto Cup, and that's actually 3 times dust. So if you want to take the week off Retro Cup, next week is actually going to matter because Kanto Cup again is 3 times dust. So, Kanto Cup is going to be very interesting, and well, not really. Kanto Cup came back, but Kanto Cup is a little refresher, especially more, it would be a lot more, give you a lot more of incentive to play because it is triple dust for Stardust rewards. So if you want to take that break now and then play this, it's totally up to you. But do me a huge favor, I really do appreciate y'all, but do me a huge favor, please like and subscribe, and also comment for the YouTube algorithm. It's totally free, and you can just subscribe by using that box at the bottom right. Really do appreciate my current subscribers. So a lot of y'all are doing the comments, and some of y'all actually give me some tips. Like one of y'all told me y'all work for the custard thing, and some of you are wrestling fans. So yes, I would like if you comment and you tell me about your interests. I may too have interests, but yes, I'm also a wrestling weeb. I love anime. I love food as well. But yes, especially treats. I love churros. I love cinnamon rolls. Cinnamon rolls is one of my favorite delicacies. Yeah, I love food. I love food so much. But yes. Along with that, I also stream on Twitch on Monday, Tuesday, Saturday, Sunday from 6:30 to 7:30 a.m. PST is usually when I'll start. I also play the Pokemon community game on there, so if you're a little addicted to that, I'm very addicted to that right now, so yeah. So, again, please follow me on Twitch if you'd like to see me in there. Oh, some of you have already said hi. I really do appreciate y'all. It's really a pleasure. Y'all make my day whenever one of you goes like, hey, I saw you on YouTube. Hi, I watch your stuff. Also, I am here, and also I appreciate y'all. I really do. Good luck on your Go Ballad sets, and I'll see y'all on the next video.
That I need, all the things that I have craved, these are what I could achieve.